back to Tactics Talk with Guido. Thanks for tuning in. I do appreciate your support. On this episode, we have a replay analysis with Captain Carberry, and he is running his Tier 8 T26E5 American Heavy Tank, Premium Tank. Pretty darn good tank. The Patriot. Is it the Patriot? What's the other one? Patriot. Yes, I believe it is. The Patriot is its doppelganger with the special paint job at Tier 8. He's in a 3.57, so he's bottom tier in a heavy. He's on airfield, and he spawned over on the east side. He sent me this replay and said, hey, take a look at this interesting play with the Sturv 103B. Sturv 103B is being run by a player named Fulcrus from Mahau, however you say that, who is actually a pretty darn good player. So this does show some interesting things with how to play this game of Watt. So we have Carberry's coming over here, and he starts working, trying to get a shot on the T92. Just not enough lead fire there, kind of just pointing at the tank instead of leading him. He was backing up, so you needed to lead that ever so slightly and continuing to try to get rid of the scout. This is not a bad decision because being able to get rid of a scout from that spot is pretty important. He can pop out, hit you on the side, and that kind of thing. He's starting to get hammered. He doesn't have a lot of places to go. Trying to hide right there. Eventually he makes a run for it, I believe, and Captain Carberry will end up killing him. You'll notice that the Sturv is actually moved forward, so he's sitting at E5. And this goes to something I say quite a bit. It doesn't really matter what tank you're running. As long as you use it right and are aggressive with it, you can be highly effective, and good players know that. That thing is also very difficult to pin. Depending on the angle, it is giving you where it is able to hide, all that kind of thing. So we're going to see what we can see from old Fulcrus running the 103B right up in everyone's face. The other good news for him is he's top tier in a 3.57, and if he sits back on that standard TD spot back there at D2, the battle may pass him by. So he's not going to be getting damage, he's not going to be effective. He's going to be sitting there and waiting for the enemy to come to him. In addition to that, his team is starting to win. You'll also notice that the T95 on his team has moved up and is up here as well. So he's using that ramp over there with his 103B, or at least he was. He's moved now. But he can go ahead and go into assault mode right there and be quite effective. Guys poking around the corner with that laser accurate gun, he's going to be hammering them. Plus that 103B reloads so fast. Now here's the interesting part, because he actually pushes on in here. His team has an advantage. He comes in here. He's going into siege mode. That is the weakness of that tank. As he was going into siege mode, he had to stop right there. And Captain Carberry puts a nice shot into the corner up under his track right there. And unfortunately then decides to stand in on him. So what you're doing here is allowing him to take multiple shots on you. He actually reloads about as fast, if not a little faster than you do. So I think what you needed to do is hit him in about the same spot you did earlier. Those are two hits you didn't need to take. So one of his questions was, what could I have done differently? Obviously standing in and letting him pound you twice in a row was something you could have done differently. And at that point now, it's time to start thinking about, all right, what is going on around me? And if I stayed in your view just about the entire rest of this game, you're going to be staring down at this Sturv 103, which is kind of what he wants you to do. He really has you and the T34 just locked down, not able to do a whole bunch to him, and basically out of the fight. And in addition to that, he's eventually going to find one of your weak spots and take you down. You have other issues going on, man. You got a 5100 over there. You have a whole bunch of guys filtering around to your side, and you've already got one that you can get some shots on. In addition to that, your two guys behind you are fighting these two. So in a situation like this, you got to figure out a way to break one of the flanks or to give yourself an advantage somewhere. And I would say that trying to play punchy face with a Sturv 103B right here is not it. And I think people get drawn in down the primrose path a little bit in situations like that, thinking, oh, that's a Sturv 103. He's supposed to be hiding. He's very vulnerable, so I think I can probably just kill him off. He's come to a stupid spot. Well, actually, no. He's come to a pretty good spot based on the situation in the game and his tank and what he's facing. And that's what good players do. They leverage the tank that they've got. Looks like the T-34 finally figured out how to get a shot in on him. He's trying to use his turret. Nice job bouncing the shot. And Captain Carberry is looking for some tracks, gets up underneath, and that's all good, but what else is going on? Well, the 103 is getting beat down, and holy cow, there's that 50-100. And I think, really, had you ignored the 103 and backed up come back around this corner right here and see what you can do against the 5100. Probably would have been the overall better idea right here. Get a little messed up right there. Finally get a shot on the T54. He bounces. And just really looking down the soda straw. Now, I'm not saying you were going to bring this game back. You know, the question was, what could I have done better? You got a whole stack of guys right there. You're in bad shape. You got a 103 that's probably about to die. And the 5100 over here is taking on Mick the Muppet. That's a great name, Mick the Muppet. And probably going to have a whole bunch of more guys showing up here pretty soon. But the question is, where could you be more effective? And more than likely, it's over here helping kill off this 5100, or even turning around and helping them push around the other corner. Good job, though, just kind of showing your turret right there and not allowing the Sturb to kill you. And once again, and the only time you look around like this is me doing it, right? Because you're just really fixated on trying to get this 103, and you have other problems going on your side here. You see that the T34 kind of notices what's going on. Why the T95 doesn't just drive around the corner, I'll never know. It looks like you want to try to get up there and get that Sturb, but you've got guys coming around on your side. Take that damage, might as well. And holy cow, there's a T50. Those guys have won over here, and you're basically trapped. So clearly there's not a whole bunch you could do there, but I think you probably left some damage on the table. Like I said, I doubt you were going to single-handedly bring this thing back, but I think the overarching what could I have done better here was, dude, quit playing punchy face with the Sturb who you're having a hard time with and go find someone else to shoot. Now, that doesn't work if you're the only guy keeping him busy, and by turning around, you allow him to drive up behind everybody and kill them. But you did have the T-34, at least for the moment, doing his thing right there. So, yeah, it was an unorthodox use of the Sturb 103B, but to me, not really, because what it was the correct use of the tank he was driving for the situation that he was in. He knew he needed to get forward, get some damage, and he was able to kind of just work over some tier 8s in there, took advantage of the situation, had the T95 backing him up so we could kind of drive up there and do that, and off he went. In addition to that, where he was sitting right there is more or less already safe, unless he comes forward too much, and you had an arty, which he did, I think, back here. Is that guy an arty? Whatever, yeah. So if he comes up too far about where the 95 is, he can be hit, but if he hangs out over here, it's very difficult for the arty to hit him. All right, guys. That is it for Capt. Carberry and his T26E5. Oh, should we see him get killed? He will die here pretty quickly. Yep, there he goes. Finally, the Sturb actually ends up getting him with his 44 hit points. One other option I would suppose you could have done right there is switch to HE and pop him a couple times. Maybe in 2 hits you might have been able to take him down. Maybe with a lucky hit on the top deck, maybe you kill him with 44. Not a really high caliber gun on that tank for HE, but that was an option there. All right, guys, like I said, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support as always. Keep the videos and the replays coming, and as always, we will see you.